Hi guys, I'm here with our speaker for Jesus Week this year. So we're going to take a little bit of time to get to know him. So welcome. It's good to have you with us. So can you perhaps introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about what you did at uni and what your experience was as a uni student.
Yeah, great. Well, my name's Jack. I'm really excited to be coming down to be with you during Jesus Week. I'm an old Adelaide uni boy. So I went through, I'm a proud owner of a Bachelor of Arts, the greatest degree you can get.
Amen.
So I studied, I majored in philosophy and history. I started studying in, I think it was 2010. It's about 2010 through to 2013. By that time I spent a bit of time in St Mark's College, a residential college there, which was great living there. But yeah, loved my time at Adelaide and looking forward to coming back.
Excellent, that's great to hear. I do agree with the Bachelor of Arts is pretty good. Anything to do with the arts? Can you tell us a bit about your family?
Yeah, cool. So I am married to the lovely Kate. We actually met at uni. We went through ES together and then we got married at the end of our time there. So I got married as uni students at Trinity, Holy Trinity Church. And yeah, so we've been over in Sydney for the last 3 and a bit years, and we've been studying theology over there together.
Very nice. Can you perhaps tell us a little bit about your faith background, how you came to faith and how you got into ministry?
So I've always been a Christian, so great privilege to grow up in a Christian family and to have the faith modelled to me by my parents, by my older siblings and things like that. There were some important moments across my journey as a Christian, particularly when I was in about year 8 and 9, wanting to think really hard about whether there was actually an intellectual underpinning to the Christian faith, whether it was actually believable. That was really important for me to go through that process. That's something that hasn't really ever left me. So one of the reasons I majored in philosophy was basically just seeing how my Christian faith would actually hold up in a philosophy department and a secular philosophy department. And I got to the end of my philosophy degree more convinced than ever that Christianity was true and that the gospel was true and that there were good reasons to be able to believe it. So they were sort of important points in my faith, but alongside that, the intellectual side, also just coming to know Christ more, seeing the effect of the Spirit in my life, seeing answered prayer, all of these things have been important for my growth in the Christian faith. In terms of then ministry, that was a decision that Kate and I came to while we were in uni. So I was actually originally doing a law arts degree, and so we started, I worked out pretty quickly that I wasn't cut out for law, so I dropped law because I realised that basically the only reason I was doing law was because I really enjoyed telling people that I was doing a law degree. And I worked out that's a pretty stupid reason to be studying something. So I moved full-time into the arts degree, was thinking about teaching, but about that same time people were asking whether I'd considered ministry full-time, and I realised that I hadn't, and that I really should think about it. So I did, and then with guys like Jeff encouraging me in that direction, did a ministry apprenticeship at Tea Tree Gully Anglican Church, and then have been spending the last 3.5 years at Moore College.
Excellent, thanks for sharing. So as we said, you're going to be around during Jesus Week quite a bit. What are some things you're looking forward to?
Oh, there's lots I'm looking forward to about Jesus Week. It's really exciting to be coming back and to be sharing a little bit from the Bible. I think we just live in a really exciting time and a really exciting point in history. And it's at a point where our world is becoming increasingly secular and our world is becoming increasingly antagonistic towards the gospel and is shedding it at a rate of knots. And I think that's just, what that means is that as the world moves further and further away from its Christian origins and from the gospel, it means that our world is moving more and more into the darkness. And what I'm excited about that is that we have the light. That's what we are presenting, and the light always shines brighter in the darkness. We're living in a world that is getting increasingly confused about a whole manner of different issues. But we have a compelling worldview, a way to think of the world that makes sense, that actually answers some of the deep questions that people have. And a lot of people have just never even heard it before. So I'm excited to be coming back and to be sharing a little bit about that, and to be sharing, the gospel, the good news that Jesus has, that he has come to save us. And so that's a message that people need to hear and that people are desperate to hear. And I think in the place that we're at the moment, it's a message that really does cut through.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that. What encouragement perhaps can you give to members of ES who are perhaps a little apprehensive maybe about sharing their faith, or it's their first Jesus week and they're not quite sure how it's going to go for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my first Jesus week and having to put on the jumpers and parade around in them. Look, it's just brilliant. One of the things that I want to say is that the Christian worldview is compelling. It is coherent. There are answers to the questions that you have, and Christianity provides answers to the questions that your non-Christian mates have. So I want to say first is just be confident in that. Even if you don't know the answers yourself, there are people who do, and hopefully in the talks we'll be answering some of those as we go through. I think as well, if this is the first time that you've really been sharing your faith, one of the great encouragements I have in evangelism, it's not something I'd say that I'm naturally very good at. But one of the things we do as Christians is we want to be loving people. And the way that you love people is by being interested in them. So the best thing you can do for evangelism, especially if you've never done it before, is just ask your friends questions. Get into a conversation. Conversations are great. Ask them, do you believe in a God? Like, what do you believe in? Where do you get your values from? And before you know it, you'll be in a conversation about God. And the great thing about asking your friend questions about what they believe is the way that it usually works is that several questions in, they turn around and ask you a question. And that's the point where you have a chance to share a little bit about what you believe. So I think that's the second thing I'd say. And the third thing I'd say is that as Christians, we have the greatest evangelist, which is the Holy Spirit. And that's a massive comfort, knowing that it's not us actually who has to convince people. The Holy Spirit will be the one doing the work and the one convincing people.